why are you so concerned with who I want to be with? It turned into, you want to be a man. Like, I'm just like living.
On this episode of Cultura Clash, it's all about breaking gender norms.
This is Adriel Favela. Me pinto las uñas.
And I love seeing Bad Bunny in heels, man.
How artists today are disrupting traditional gender roles.
I was raised very gay is wrong, like don't even think about it, which is probably why I had so much of a struggle like within myself.
Some people see that and are like, oh, that's gross, but like if you see it on a guy, it wouldn't be as gross, so that's on you.
Why it matters, and what kind of backlash can it cause.
Well, you should have dressed like this, and you would have been able to represent us, but you didn't.
Everyone's gonna find something to say, no matter what, so you might as well just do you.
We're breaking it all down, sin filtro, always tackling the hottest topics in Latin music and culture. This is Cultura Clash. Dímelo, dímelo, dímelo. Welcome to Cultura Clash. Today I'm surrounded by truly talented artists disrupting the game, owning their identity. Starting with a rapper-singer who's never afraid to take a stand. Snow the Product, looking amazing. Thank you for being here with us. Singer-songwriter who blends traditional Mexican with modern swag and sauce, the one and only Adriel Favela. And finally, the Colombian-Canadian Grammy-nominated singer and songwriter who is always authentically and genuinely herself, Jessie Reyez. Let's start with, who is one of the artists that you most admire for breaking gender norms?
Well, for me, Gloria Trevi, growing up, watching Gloria Trevi kind of like not be quote unquote ladylike and like just breaking out and doing her was like lit to watch, you know? And back in those days, there wasn't that many that were like that.
I'm gonna go way, way, way back para haber quebrado todas las normas, no nada más musicales, sino también en el momento que se hizo la actuación con la música Pedro Infante. Yo creo que fue alguien que influyó muy cabrón. I'm a big fan.
Mine is very recent. I love seeing Bad Bunny in heels, man. I love it. I'm like, I'm here for it. Do that, baby.
Crazy.
You each have broken the mold in your own unique way. To what extent would you say you have disrupted gender roles?
Anybody want to take it first?
I just looked at you first.
I know, I'm like,
let's start with you. Let's go this side. The pressure.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, getting to know myself, and I didn't really fit in most of the time in my 10-year music career till now. I felt lost all the time, but it's just having that Mexican-American culture and be proud of it, you know, not being scared, because there was a moment where I was the first one being tatted in the regional Mexican, and it was a bad thing, you know. I wasn't gonna do shit if I got out of the music. I wasn't even gonna get a job, you know. Es lo que dijeron muchos con
And it's the pressure, right, about being 200%, 100% Americano, 100% Mexicano. Are you not Mexican enough? Are you not American enough?
Of course, and I wasn't accepted by it. And it wasn't until, you know what, I was like, this is it. This is what you guys have, and I'm just gonna be myself and have fun with it. And people, I guess, got attached to it. A lot of us. There's a lot of us.
Well, I feel like I was really fortunate to have a family that just didn't press me in that way when it came to like, little girls are supposed to wear dresses, but I wanted to pull down curtains. My mom would be like, all right, cool, wear the curtains, you know?
Yeah.
So luckily I had that at home. And then when I started going to school and started getting bullied and shit for like wearing all my brother's clothes, it didn't really hit me that heavy, because I was like, man, if my mom ain't telling me shit, you're definitely not telling me shit, you know? And then the older I got, exploring with different things, like letting my fucking leg hairs grow because I want to, letting whatever grow because I want to. And then it's funny because some people see that and are like, oh, that's gross. But like, if you see it on a guy, it wouldn't be as gross. So that's on you. Like, that's your internalized misogyny that's making you put me on a different metric. That's not really accurate, because it's not gross when you see it on somebody else.
Do you tend to clap back when people say comments, or do you prefer just, you know, killing them with silence?
I'm learning to be more más pacífica. Poquito a poquito, pero más pacífica.
That's dope that your family wasn't like that. My family was, you know, Mexican-American, or like Mexican family, because I was raised very like traditional Mexican. It was very, like, they take your biggest insecurity and they like make that your nickname type stuff. So like they definitely did that to me. Like they just dug in a lot about like kind of the type of person I was, or how I dressed, or what I did, or whatever. So I think it made me be very like to myself, and then that's how I did end up like putting everything into music, was because I would just work on music by myself and then found my own community. It got to a point where literally, like, very cliche to say that your family is your fans, but that's what it was. Like, it had to be, because if I would have just stayed where I was, it was a very toxic environment. So I learned to like love myself because of the way that the fans loved me, from like becoming myself. You know what I mean? So that's what I've been doing.
When was the first time that you felt loving yourself, you felt your fans loving you more for that?
I think it's been very like similar to my career. It's been very like slow. I feel like there's never been just this one like this is me. But I think my last relationship, it was the first time that I was like publicly very loud about, you know, my sexuality and like my partner and like everything like that. And I think that might have been one of the first times when my fans got to see a little bit more of me because of the person that I was with and how I loved that person and cared for that person. So they got to see like it's genuine, you know, it's not just we're making out for a moment on the internet. It's like this is a real like relationship.
Adriel, when was the first time that perhaps you touched the stage or you were in a room where you're like, damn, I'm loving myself, and people started really embracing who you were?
Uf, yo creo que hubo un antes y un después de mi carrera, después de haber salido de la compañía disquera en la que me encontraba. I couldn't take out music, I couldn't really do shit with my name. I was just fighting.
Going through
legally.
it.
Yeah, you know? And during those deepest moments, those dark places is where you really form yourself, you know? Anything that goes through pressure, anything that goes through darkness, at the end of the day becomes someone new or something. And I think that process helped me a lot to just go out and say, all right, this is Adriel Favela. No lo encasquillen con algo. Les guste o no les guste, me pinto las uñas. Algo que también en el regional mexicano, hermano, son cosas del diablo.
What are some of the things you hear or they say because you paint your nails? And
Shit, I love my nails. You know, I take a lot of time.
they look beautiful, by the way.
You like them?
And they're nice
You're
too.
dope. Let's teach you. But, you know, I mean, social media, I guess, I'm not going to say it doesn't affect, but afecta lo que tú permites que afecta, ¿sabes? Y yo soy de las personas que al final del día se unta mantequilla y trato de quedarme con lo que me hace crecer como persona y lo que no simplemente lo dejo a un lado y aunque me raspe poquito lo doy para adelante.
Jessie, when it comes to breaking gender norms, when was the first time you felt you did that?
I think I was going to an award show or something, and I had a few people be like, so who's gonna be the designer? What's the dress? What's this? What's that? And I was like, no, I'm going in a t-shirt. And they were like, fuck you mean? And it's just crazy because then it's not, I don't think I did anything particularly that out of the norm because I've seen other people do it.
And
It's
this
what I
is
want to wear.
like people in your team, or is it like people that you work
Yeah,
with?
sometimes it's people that are a little bit closer. And
Okay.
the crazy thing is that you can't even fault someone for that because if someone's on your team and they have an opposing view, it's usually because they're also thinking for like what's the best case scenario for you, you know? Often. Because if someone's on your team, they want you to win too. It's not really ego. I think that was it. It was me deciding to wear a t-shirt to an award show when I've seen dudes wear t-shirts and it was fine. And
It was cool, right? It was peace.
Yeah.
No one said anything.
Yeah.
Let's dive into gender norms when it comes to appearances and fashion. Now, more than ever, we're seeing women trading dresses, heels for sneakers, and baggy outfits, and guys like Bad Bunny and J Balvin wearing skirts, heels. What are your thoughts on that and everything that's happening now within our culture and fashion?
It's great. I love it. It's overdue.
Yeah,
know?
people should just be able to
Themselves.
wear whatever they want.
Do you think that when artists dress differently, it helps society accept more?
They definitely open up. I think we have a certain... Es una responsabilidad, por así decirlo, ¿no? El darle la libertad a la gente. Muchos confunden la libertad con decir pendejadas en las redes sociales y mostrar un mundo falso. And I think we all go through that. But see people really just step and be who they really are is the right example that we need for other people to become who they want to be.
Yeah, being who you really are. I think sometimes too, like doing it like corny or like
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to like making it a gimmick. It holds back people who really are going through that, like with their life. You know what I mean? Like me dressing more masculine, most of the time is like my life. Like that would be happening even if I didn't get a photo shoot out of it. I do think that sometimes people just need to make sure that it's honest. Like he said, just make sure that it's like true to you.
Adriel, regional Mexican artist, a hyper-masculine genre. How do you deal with the masculinity and the machismo, and how do you embrace your identity?
Ah, carnal, yo nunca... Estás hablando con el menos machista de todo el género, yo creo, al final del día. Y saber que amar la cultura and to embrace it. Yo siempre he dicho, ¿sabes? Yo quiero llevarle tacos al mundo, hermano, enseñarle al mundo los chingones que somos los latinos. Al final del día yo no nada más soy mexicano, yo me siento puertorriqueño cuando escucho a Bad Bunny, hermano. Yo me siento cubano cuando escucho a Julián Oviedo pegarle a los timbales, a Tony Zucker, me explico. Yo me siento americano bien cabrón cuando escucho Snow igual, ¿sabes? Con una voz increíble. Entonces, yo me siento ellos cuando realmente escucho su música. Y yo creo que al final del día esa es la magia que conlleva todo esto, muchísimo más allá del machismo de Shit is Bigger Than Us.
Bringing tacos to the world. That's definitely
sir.
a t-shirt right there. That's merch for sure. This is for the group. Have you ever experienced any backlash for presenting yourself how you want to present yourself?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird that I can't really fathom who makes like fake pages, but there's really people that do a lot, and you block them and you get more and more and more, and it's just weird. And even for example, I was having some sort of like conversation about something that was like a little bit more like political and racial topic, and it turned into, well, you want to be a man, and it's like, I don't want to be a man. Like I don't even know what I want to be exactly, but I'm just a bubble and I'm just like living. And this person was like dead ass like attacking. It was a dude, and he has a picture with his wife and his kid and everything. And I'm like, why are you so concerned with who I want to be with? Like that's so weird. And I know that I shouldn't be having this conversation, but I just wanted to get down to the bottom of like what irritates men about women wanting to be with women, like that they're not necessary in the equation or something. Like I don't know, but. Yeah, I get that conversation a lot, especially from like Latino men that are just like so aggravated and like, well, you should have dressed like this and you would have blown up and you would have been able to represent us, but you didn't because you decided to dress like this, and that's why now you're, a nobody. You're just like,
But they still bump in your music.
yo, like
And they take the
9
time
a.m. on
though.
Tuesday. Like, why are you so mad? You got a kid. Like, what? Go take care of your child.
On a profile pic as well.
On the profile and the wife and everything. I'm like, tag your wife so I can go talk to her and be like, what are you doing wrong that this man is so angry at me for who I want to be with? So I'm like, I already have one baby daddy I gotta deal with. I don't want to deal with yours.
How about you, Adriel?
No, hombre, yo al final del día apoyo todo. Yo conozco al gay más gay que es mi cuñado y lo adoro, hermano, y aparte es el que me viste, entonces yo lo amo, lo acepto. El simple hecho de ser seres humanos yo creo que involucra respeto, hermano, y el ser libre lo es todo. Apoyar a la mujer así sea con sus gustos personales o lo que se crea, me vale madre. Es un ser humano y merece respeto.
Jessie, have you ever felt that you had to defend your art and your music?
Yeah, of course. It's just a given for this industry. Like, I feel like my skin's gotten a little thicker throughout the years. Sometimes you just gotta have fun, because motherfuckers will just go online and write a paragraph about, like, man, there was this one lady, Linda something, and she was like, oh my God, like, you were on stage and my daughters know you don't represent them because your idea of feminism is so convoluted and all these vulgarities, and they know that, like, just essay. And I was like, suck my dick. And it felt nice. You know? It felt, because sometimes it's you really have to decipher. And I commend you for like wanting to have a conversation with dude, because that's how changes, you know? You create this space for communication because maybe he learned something that day. As much as his ego maybe didn't want to accept it and he's fighting back, those little convos sometimes stick in people's brains. But also, sometimes you do, like, my peace of mind takes more precedence than trying to teach somebody that really ain't trying to learn shit. So I was like, oh, well, whatever, it is what it is. And things like that, and also things like being cognizant of not doing things out of spite. So for example, I was having a hair journey, so I wanted to grow my pids until my album was done. And so I was doing that, and I like shaved them at Coachella and whatever. And then I kind of liked them, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll let them grow a little bit more, you know, maybe I'll dye them, I don't know. And then people started being like, oh, she sold out, she shaved them, whatever. And then some people were like, oh, you finally, it was just pulls from different sections that I was like, oh, I have to be careful that I don't become a caricature of myself for the sake of going against the grain. I just need to do whatever I want to do, regardless of whether I'm getting cheered on or not, because the cheers have to come internally, or you have to come from inside.
That's deep
in order
and
for
hard.
it to be valid. Yeah, it's super hard, because you really have to check yourself to be like, what's my motivation right now? To shut somebody up, or because I really want to do it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a mind fuck, but
yeah.
You can get
and
it.
sometimes with the like arguing, it's like, you know, today having time. The day that you got time, you're like, today I got time. I'm driving like to freaking 8 hours away and I got some time to have a conversation. Sometimes you really do just be like, you know what, this person was so ignorant that it's not even worth the conversation.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, like I said, that guy had a picture and everything. So I'm like, this is a person. This is a human being. So I'm like, let me see. And it did turn fairly positive. I feel like there's been some times when I get to turn people around and be like, okay, look at it from this way. Okay, bet. Like that was just a human interaction of me trying to get into the psyche of the type of person that would reach out to somebody having a whole family. I'm like it's like, why can't you just be, fine, you can be conservative, but like, why do you have to be homophobic? Whatever your opinions are on politics, just why do you have to attack people for who they actually love? And so sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, oh my God, please.
Sometimes it's worth it though, cause you're right. You could have changed. Like if that guy's got kids, that conversation could have altered. Like you could have. It's crazy because the little ripple effects, you just never know. It could alter the way he parents.
Yeah.
It could alter the way he might deal with his kid when his kid like is a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Adriel, in your dating history, did you do the gentlemanly thing? Open the doors, pay the bill, pay for the dinner and date?
Regreso a lo mismo. Honestamente me define como persona, ¿sabes? Lo hago porque es real, me encanta hacer sentir a mi mujer, ¿sabes? Al final del día yo creo que se merecen un respeto muy cabrón y lo hago porque me nace. No lo hago porque es lo que tiene que hacer un hombre. Al final del día nosotros somos los que elegimos y le damos el sentimiento a lo que realmente queremos creer y cómo queremos formar a nuestras futuras personas.
Then my little sister, she's in college coming for physical therapy, and she's like, yo, mom, listen, like, I'm not gonna be a cooking girl. Like, my partner has to cook with me. We're gonna order out, but like, I wanna be a boss.
My
I'm
girl
just like,
hates cooking,
I'm
dog.
just like,
My girl does not cook. Me trató de ahí de calentar unos frijoles en una taza una vez, en una taza carnal, imagínate. But I just loved her seeing it. You get me? It's something beautiful.
Can a woman be a feminist and still expect a man to pay a bill?
Yeah.
Sure.
Why not?
I've had to struggle with my internalized, like with that, like, right? Because facts, like I was raised very Mexican, and yeah, if you work or you provide, the other person has to do stuff. But this was even the case when I was married to a man prior, and I worked, so like he cooked. You know what I mean? And so
that's actually something very normal. We see that a lot in Latin communities, like men cooking or taking different type of.
Yeah. That's one thing that I will say. Like my uncles, like they all can cook, and they all make fun of people that can't cook, me. And I just don't. I'm like, if I'm gonna work, and I like being the breadwinner. Like I like providing. I like that. Like it just makes me feel good.
It's the sense of putting that 50%, you get me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I put everything, but I do feel like if I put all this financially and you're putting this, like I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
Growing up in a Mexican Catholic, right, household, what are some of those beliefs that they shared upon you growing up?
Ooh, I was an altar girl.
Are you an altar girl? I was an altar
Yeah,
boy. All right.
I was an altar girl. I was in the choir. I was very Catholic. All the traditional stuff, obviously, you know, gay is wrong. Like, don't even think about it, which is probably why I had so much of a struggle, like, within myself. And I would ask, like, I'd tell girls, like, do you think girls are cute? They'd be like, yeah. Like, every girl would say it. So I was just like, okay, bet, this is, like, mad normal. Like, every girl likes girls and, like, makes out with them or whatever. So I was like, great, this is great. And then later on, I realized, no, actually, you're probably just gay. But it was because of my family. Like if they didn't put all that in me for so long, and I really listened, I really was scared of like my dad and stuff, and realized like, you know, you should be more of a free spirit and not so, you know, conforming to the crap that they kind of instilled in us.
That's funny. Your Que Oso song is lit.
Yeah.
Man.
I
was
love
like,
it.
oh,
Yeah.
that shit smack.
That was real. Like, that was very much, and I had that song recorded for like, what, 3 years before I put it out? Because I was like, if I put this song out, my family's gonna just like, and they were mad, you know, but that was after the visa rap, so they already thought I was famous, so I was like, all right, bet. They couldn't disown me anymore.
What is some of the worst machismo we have encountered?
Oh my gosh. Saying something direct shouldn't be offensive because I'm a woman. Like,
Okay.
I've said things that are direct, very neutral. But because there's not a, like, you know, a smile, or because there's not a, like, some fucking icing on top, or because there's not an emoji next to a text that says, I need you to do this, it's a problem. It shouldn't be a problem. I should just be able to just, you know, I got shit to do. I got shit to do. I'm just trying to move quick. I don't know, the sentiment of nice for what never hit as deep as this year for me, because I'm just like, I'm trying to move, I'm trying to do things quick, and I would just rather someone understand that I don't have to be nice to everybody. You just don't. Sometimes I just want to be direct and keep it moving. But as a woman, sometimes if I do that and it's neutral, like people will be like, damn, she in a mood? Like, no, I'm not. I'm just saying, I need this done. Thank you. That's it. Keep it moving, you know? And it's so subtle. It's so subtle, and it's annoying because it's subtle enough that when you call it out, then it becomes a bigger thing because someone will be like, what's the big deal? Like, I'm like, it wasn't a big deal. You made it a big deal. You made it a big deal. We could just keep it moving. Just
But if it was a dude saying it, it would be a whole different
like,
story.
hey, I need this done. Oh, okay, cool. He's just being direct. Like, we got to do it. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. That's what I think. And I've seen it. I've seen male counterparts ask for similar things, and it'd be fine.
I see it too. That's crazy. I'm just seeing it, but it is kind of true.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
It's
crazy.
very true.
Super
a million
true.
%. Like even like when you're touring or stuff like that, like when you're doing like just your interactions with a lot of men that are in this industry, it's just different. Like if I was a guy, it would be completely different. I've definitely had the fallout with a lot of people. You don't respect me like you would a man, and that's just what it is. And I think people don't realize I'm not as tough as Snow the product is, you know, like me, Claudia personally, I'm not tough at all. Like I'm actually mad soft. Just because I dress like this doesn't mean you gotta treat me mad rough, but also not the respect that you give a man. So I'm like in the middle of the whole thing. And I do put the emojis just because I guess people just tend to think that I'm mean. So I put emojis on everything. I'm like, hey, read my text with this. I've literally told people, read my text in Dora the Explorer's voice. Do not read my text in whatever angry tone you think I'm saying it. Read it in Dora the Explorer voice and you're gonna be fine.
It's crazy.
Man.
Mad respect for that.
Straight up.
Thank you.
Do you think that the next generation will be facing the same struggles that we're facing now?
I hope not.
Hopefully not. That's what we're here
I think
for.
that's it. Yeah, exactly.
Being their grandpas.
Al final del día yo creo que el coraje, ¿no? El mantenerse siempre honesto a lo que eres, el combo de lo que hemos platicado realmente, el no dejar morir. Solo muere si se olvida. Esa frase la traigo pegada, hermano, últimamente. Viene en el disco próximo a salir, pero es súper cierto. Solo muere si se olvida. I don't want my music to die ever, you know? So I hope they maintain our legacy in a certain way to where other generations could keep on knowing about us and keep on learning into the message that we're dropping, you know, because it's super honest. And I think you guys could tell.
Yeah. I think for future generations too, like I would say what I tell my son all the time, like, you know, like I'm working hard to get you here and like you got to take it from there up. We didn't work this hard and we didn't go through certain things just like other people before us. They did all these things just for us to fuck it all up. Like, you know, some responsibility comes with the work that's already been done before you.
I always say everyone's gonna find something to say, no matter what you do, because you can't please everybody. And that's including yourself. So no matter what, people are gonna say, so you might as well just do you. So find out how to get to know yourself better. Find your voice and do you.
Adding to that, I would probably say, you'll walk on water and there's always gonna be someone that's gonna say you can't swim. Know your worth, add tax on it, and the biggest present that we have in this world right now is this moment. That's the biggest gift. And that's it.
Amen.
Thank you once again, everybody. This is Cultura Clash on Billboard with yours truly, AJ Ramos. Know the product, Jessie Reyez, Adriel Favela. We out.